And at some point, somewhere along Franklin Street, as they said, at the base of the hill upon which stands the Capitol, somewhere probably close to Governor Street and Franklin, Lincoln stopped, and he really sees the power of this moment. He stops to rest. Now, Admiral Porter wrote about this many years later, and one of the problems is Admiral Porter should be my best correspondent. He should be the guy that I lean on for almost everything. He should be our best source. The problem is he became a novelist after the war and saw his job as embellishing the story. And he wrote it about 14 times, and the fish got bigger every time. And so his account of this is that they were sitting there, and this former enslaved person who's dressed very poorly, broke from the crowd, threw himself at the ground and began, bless you, Master Abraham Lincoln, all this kind of stuff. And Lincoln said, get up, you're free as air. You should bow to no man ever again. And basically curses him out. But Coffin was there and wrote about it the very day that this happened. And I'll read you his account and then we'll move on. But contrast the two, and you'll see the problem of historical sourcing. This is Coffin the day of. He says, we reached the base of the hill upon which stands the Capitol. Mr. Lincoln was wearing his overcoat. The afternoon was warm, the sun shining, and he halted for a brief rest. The crowd had greatly increased. A cavalryman dashed away to General Shepley's headquarters for an escort. While thus halting, an aged Negro, wearing a few rags, barefooted, without a coat, his tattered garments made from gunny cloth, whose white, crisp hair appeared through his crownless straw hat, which he lifted from his head, and half kneeling with clasped hands, gave utterance to the benediction, may the good Lord bless and keep you safe, Massa President Abraham Lincoln. The president lifted his own hat from his head and bowed to the old man. It was a bow which upset the forms, laws, customs, and ceremonies of centuries. It was a death shock to chivalry and a mortal wound to caste. Moisture gathered in his eyes. He wiped it away, and the procession moved on. Wow. How many times do you think that man had been acknowledged by a white man as a man? A bow, a tip of the hat, a simple gesture, which meant everything. And people who saw this took it as such. It was Abraham Lincoln saying, this is a man. Now, whatever the political complications are around the 13th Amendment, around what is going to happen to the freed people, here's Abraham Lincoln himself personally demonstrating how he sees this fellow human being as a man. It's pretty powerful.